Today we are making the best carnivore beef stew I've ever tasted. Welcome to my channel. My name is Anita, and on my channel I show you how I've lost 145 pounds following an animal-based ketogenic way of eating. Okay, so for those of you that follow me, you know I have been away. I was at a retreat for a few days in Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. I had an opportunity to work with Chef Patty. I'm going to link her channel below. I just learned a few techniques. It was fun to work in the kitchen, and it was a real opportunity to be even just around someone who actually knows what they're doing. And so I brought a couple of techniques back here. Today I'm making the beef stew that we had on the retreat. It won't be exactly the same because I missed a couple of parts while I was off doing other things. But you know, the gist of it. Basically, when I make beef stew, I normally just throw the meat in, water and salt, let the crock pot go. This takes the flavor up to a whole other level without adding a bunch of ingredients. So I did part of it last night, and so I'm going to show you that footage right now. You'll see it's just marrow bones basically going overnight in the crock pot. Now that you've seen that, we're going to go over to the crock pot. I'm going to remove the bones and we'll take it from there. So these bones are ready to come out, and we're going to do some magic with the liquid that's left, and that is part of what is going to give this particular beef stew so much flavor and body. I have got to get the bones out, so I'm just going to scoop them in here with a slotted spoon. So if you recall from last night, some of these bones had the beef marrow in them still, and we want to keep that. We also want to keep any cartilage attached to the sides. Like this is our collagen. This is also going to give this broth some extra. I'm just scraping off whatever I can because I want to retain all this. These bones that we had at the retreat were grass-fed, grass-finished. They came from our ancestorsfoods.com. I'm going to link that below because all the meat we had there was amazing. Thank you very much, Leo, if you happen to be watching this. Really enjoyed your products. Oh, here we have a little bit more. Right now I'm just looking for any small bones left.
I think I got it all.
Okay, so what we have left in the crock pot is obviously we have the liquid, but we have these things that are floating on the top. This is all bone marrow, and you know, we are going to keep that, and we're going to emulsify the bone marrow as well as any other little pieces of meat and cartilage, probably a little bit of fat. This is all going to be incorporated back into the broth, and we're going to do that with our stick blender. So I'm just going to go after all these pieces of bone marrow. Just trying to pulse it and see what we have left in here. See if I got all the little more to do. Mostly we just have some pieces of meat left in here from those bones. Some of them had some. But we do have the bone marrow incorporated. I'm just going to do a couple more pulses. So you can see that what we have left is something that looks a little different. It's got kind of a creamy texture. That's the bone marrow. At the retreat, a lot of people thought there was dairy in the stew. And I can assure you there was no dairy, and it just it's just creamy. So it's that bone marrow, so it's really important to get marrow bones for this recipe. Now what we're going to do, and this is going to amp up the flavor even a little bit more, is I'm going to transfer about half of this into this pan here, and I will reduce that down and then add it back in. That is going to amp up the flavor even more. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to heat this up, bring it to a good simmer, and then let it simmer for 10 minutes or so until it's quite reduced. So we'll see you back once things start happening. In the meantime, I'm going to cut up some beef for the beef stew, and we'll talk about that when I come back. Okay, so this has been reducing now for 15-20 minutes. So as you can see, we have a lot less liquid in here now. And I'm going to scrape the sides, get some of this off. We want all these tasty bits to go back in our stew. Just a quick moment about the beef I'm using. At the retreat, we of course had the luxury of grass-fed and finished beef that we got from our AncestorsFoods.com from Leo. And I just have what was in my freezer. So I no longer buy stewing beef. Here where I live, the stewing beef is over $10 a pound, and it's the leanest stuff that that you can possibly find. I have no idea, what part of the cow it comes from. To me, it's much cheaper to just cut up my steaks or roasts that I get on sale. So, for example, what I have in here is I have 2 large strip loin steaks. I got a big giant strip loin piece for $6.99 a pound. It's gonna make way better stew. It's gonna be, look at the fat on here. I want fatty meat in my stew. I also have leftover chuck steaks that I had. I just saved the leftovers in the freezer. That's why some of it looks like it's partially cooked. And I mean, you can do that, any type of beef that you get on sale. Just cut it up for stew instead of buying the stew beef. For those of you that want to sear your pieces, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to. I'm just going to now put the beef. This is about 3 pounds altogether. I'm going to put it in here and mix this in there. The last thing I just want to mention is that I did take out about a cup and a half of liquid out of the crock pot because I want to make some soup tomorrow, and I wanted to have some of this. And I felt like I had more than enough liquid in here and there to do the stew. So that's going in the fridge. Now I'm going to put my good stuff in here. You could actually reduce all of the liquid. I just wasn't sure if I'd have enough left, so that's why I went with half. And there we go. This is going to make an amazing stew. I know because I've already tasted it. I think I do want to probably add a little more salt. Yeah, I'm going to add another teaspoon of salt, and you can always salt it some more later. I'm using Redmond's. Now you guys know that I'm pretty plain Jane when it comes to cooking. Feel free to add whatever seasonings you normally add, and if you want to do something different. So this is all I'm adding, and now this is just going to cook all day and get that beef all soft. It's going to be dinner tonight, so we will come back later, show you what it looks like, and we'll see if it really is the best carnivore beef stew. I think it is. So we'll see you guys later in the next segment. Okay, it's dinner time. And the whole place has been smelling amazing. Let's take a look at the stew here. I'm going to dish some out. Okay, here's what we have. Let's give this a try. This has been going probably 8 to 10 hours. It is so good. It is so good. Just that rich broth really, really makes the soup. And, of course, the flavor of the meat is going to depend on what kind of meat you use, and if you put anything else on it besides salt. For me, This is just perfect the way it is.
Just melt in your mouth.
I'm going to go and have myself a bowl of this hearty stew, and I hope you give this a try and, you know, just see how delicious it is. Thank you so much, Chef Patty, for putting up with me hanging out in your kitchen. And, you know, I hope that you had a good time like I did. And like I mentioned, her channel is named The Carnivore Hippie, which I love that name. And I am going to link that below, and please do check her out. And we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Tell you your job. Ow! Ow! I hit my knuckles against that corner there. Okay, oh, you just have to say action. I have to tell you your job. Okay. On a camera, action. Can I talk? Well, as soon as you say action, I'll start doing it. The bones, whoops, okay, the little mess to clean up later. Oh, I keep looking over there. Whoops, whoops, okay, the